So, how are you going to help people with mental illness in your own work? When you're working with people struggling with mental illness, you must always remember you are a helper, you are not a therapist. The differences between a helper and a counselor. As a helper, you're supporting the person, the helpee, to change the way they are coping with everyday life problems, i.e., you are supporting the helpee to reach his or her own decisions. Primarily, you are focusing on the external issues, the presenting problems, not psychological and internal issues. And this difference is critical because if a helper oversteps his or her role, it can cause great harm to the person and to the helper's career. Most important, you must know your role and your limits. You are a helper, not a therapist. And that involves setting boundaries. You must know yourself. And you must listen, listen, and listen. So why is this often so difficult? Well, it's difficult because we care. We're in the helping professions and we want to help. And we believe that it's so obvious to us, we can see what the person's problems are. Maybe we've even been there ourselves. And what else? We want to be the expert. We are the helper. And what happens when a helper tries to do more therapeutic counseling? You get in way over your head. You open a can of worms you don't know what to do with. You can cause a great deal of pain. You can lose the trust of the person, and frankly, you can destroy your career. So, boundaries. What are healthy boundaries? They are the framework of the helper and helpee relationship. They make it a safe place for the client. They set parameters, boundaries in the helping services. And what are healthy boundaries? Well, some of the things may be the amount of time that the helper is spending with a family or a person, a child. It may be when they're scheduling day or evening sessions. It may include how much of your personal information you disclose. It certainly involves very clear limits regarding touching, even the most innocent. It's about the tone of the relationship between the two people. It can include lending money, support, help. And you must set and maintain these boundaries to make sure the rights of the client are respected, that you are always aware of and guarding the privacy of the person, and that you don't mean to, but to make sure you don't take advantage of the extent of how vulnerable this person is. So why should we talk about boundaries? Because it reduces the risk of the person being exploited. It helps the person understand what the rules and the roles are as clear as possible. It makes it much less anxious for the person. It increases the well-being of you, the helper, and it provides a very clear role model for the client. So who sets these boundaries? Who negotiates them? It's your job, the duty of the worker, to act in the best interests of the client. You are ultimately responsible for managing boundary issues. Well, why you? Well, because you're the professional. The clients may not even be aware of the need for boundaries or be able to understand when boundaries are being violated. And most important, there's inherently a power imbalance between you, the worker, and the client. You are perceived, and in fact, you do have the power and control.